Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on what it truly takes to survive and actually thrive as an independent software developer. We're going to take a deep dive into the incredibly realistic daily workflows of a self-employed indie developer based over in Oslo, Norway. We're looking at the exact strategies, the tools, and the mindset you need to build a sustainable business right from your own home office.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the financial leap, the dual engine of content and code, the AI workflow, time and task management, and finally, the software lifecycle.
All right, starting with Section 1, the financial leap, validating the move to solo development.
So, taking the plunge to work entirely for yourself? It's incredibly daunting. You're basically trading comfortable office stability for working from home, and suddenly you have to dodge those expensive $7 local coffees just to stretch your cash. But you have to ask, does the financial risk actually pay off? Well, take a look at that hard number right there, $4,000. That's the current monthly income generated strictly by his Mac utility app. It's absolute, concrete proof that this solo developer path is a sustainable reality.
And honestly, the perspective gets even better. When you compare his past as a full-time corporate software engineer about 3 years ago to his present life as a self-employed creator, it's a huge shift. Between the app's success and the extra revenue coming in from his YouTube channel, he is just now hitting his exact old corporate salary. Sure, it took 3 years of grinding to get there, but the financial gap has officially closed.
Moving right along to Section 2, the dual engine, balancing code and content. Now you might be wondering, how exactly did he accelerate that app growth to close his salary gap? A lot of people think that running a YouTube channel while trying to build an app would be this massive, productivity-killing distraction. But that's a total misconception. Posting these tech-focused videos actually acts as a direct growth engine. By sharing his behind-the-scenes coding process, he heavily boosts the visibility, the usage, and ultimately the income of his Mac utility app. The content isn't pulling him away from his business at all. The content is literally marketing his business.
Which brings us to Section 3, the AI workflow, using precise prompting over just buying into the hype.
Look, AI is everywhere right now, right? But how does a solo developer actually use it to ship real features without getting bogged down in all the industry hype? Well, it really comes down to ruthless decision-making. He recently completely abandoned his Claude subscription because of unpredictable usage limits and those really expensive quotas. Instead, he made the switch to Gemini 3 Flash using a JetBrains harness called Gemini. Why? It's all about cost efficiency and control. He pays the exact token price with no arbitrary resets every 5 hours. It's so cheap that a $7 coffee costs many times more than an entire coding session using this model.
But here's the thing. The tool is only as good as the instructions you feed it. Listen to this exact prompt he uses. Add a new risk level called custom, which doesn't really have an associated value, which will be set by default for all custom targets to find in this folder and file, and also come up with a hard-coded message that we will use in the UI for custom targets. Do you notice how ridiculously specific that is? He knows exactly what he wants changed, in which exact file, and precisely how it connects to the rest of the project.
And this leads perfectly into his golden rule. AI is a replacement for manual typing, not a brainstorming partner. He found that when you try to brainstorm with AI, it just unhelpfully reflects your own thoughts right back at you. It kind of feels productive, but it really isn't. But when he treats AI as an ultra-fast typist that just executes his deliberate, surgical prompts, it literally saves him hours of manual coding.
Let's jump to Section 4, time and task management, organizing a one-man band.
Now, a massive question still remains here. How on earth does one person write the code, produce the YouTube videos, and handle the customer support without completely burning out? The answer is aggressive, streamlined organization using tools like Akiflow. To stay locked into that crucial developer flow state, he relies heavily on a global command bar. With just a quick Command-K shortcut, he can add tasks, assign them to specific projects using simple hashtags, and set deadlines, all without ever taking his hands off the keyboard. Paired with full calendar views and AI schedule clearing, he is always working on exactly what matters most at that exact moment.
And our final stop, Section 5, the software lifecycle, testing, polishing, and launching.
So how does all this prep actually build into a final product? Let's track the creation of a brand new feature for his app, a custom disk cleaner. He breaks it down into 4 distinct steps. First, he steps entirely away from the keyboard, visualizing the feature holistically while riding his scooter or just doing chores around the house to figure out the exact architecture. Second, he sits down and uses those hyper-precise AI prompts we talked about to generate the code. Third, he pushes the rough changes directly to his community Discord for real user testing. And fourth, he steps back in for the absolutely crucial manual polish.
And here is the tangible result of that lifecycle. The old version of the app relied on 16 hard-coded target folders, which is fine, but kind of rigid. The new feature allows for custom, user-defined paths. So now, a developer can specifically target those giant, forgotten node_modules folders, or a video editor can wipe out specific caches of old video files. It automatically clears gigabytes of dead weight from their Macs. It's a real game changer for the user.
But remember that 4th step, the manual polish? This is so important. He never lets the AI have the final say. Your code base communicates your app's overall design, and it bakes in your future plans. He absolutely insists on manually tidying up the code, adjusting the fonts, dialing in the animations, and perfecting the micro-interactions by hand just to ensure there is zero AI slop. AI gets him 90% of the way there, for sure, but that final 10%, that is where the human craftsmanship lives.
And that human touch extends to the very unglamorous grind of real-world bug testing. Through his Discord, he spends these late nights working directly with users to fix super niche compatibility issues, like debugging how his app fights for system-wide keyboard shortcut priority against major software like Logitech Options or Stream Deck. That level of hands-on, granular problem-solving is just something AI simply cannot orchestrate on its own out in the wild.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. Looking at this developer's rigorous, highly intentional workflow, you really have to ask yourself, in your own daily routines, are you falling into the trap of letting AI brainstorm your architecture and just hoping for the best? Or are you doing the hard thinking yourself and using AI precisely as a high-speed tool to build your intent? It really is the difference between just generating noise and building a sustainable long-term business. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.